Welcome everyone, Angie here, and it's time for some yoga. We're gonna go, if you haven't joined me before, we're actually gonna go for about 45 minutes or so. So not a super long session, but just enough time to wind down from your day and to kind of make that shift, that very important shift from your day of work or your day of school or whatever you had to do today, and just making that shift of that working time into this relaxation time. We have to have time to recharge each and every day. So I'm glad that you're able to join me. Namaste. So we're actually just going to find a comfortable sitting position, and if you have props that are at your disposal, then grab a couple of blocks today, a strap today, and a blanket today, okay? Because we will be using all of those things, and just do the best you can without them if you don't have them. Improvise all you can. So sitting up nice and straight. If you wanted to, you could start right off the bat using one of your props, your blanket, and sitting on the edge of the blanket, and that just gives our hips a little bit more height, gives us more space in the lower back. That is entirely up to you. So see what you need, honor what you need. Having the eyes closed here, or you could send your gaze down the tip of the nose, but relaxing through the eyes, softening through the eyes just as much as you can. Starting to connect with every inhalation, every exhalation, noticing your rhythm. Maybe you're noticing that you may need to slow the breath down a bit, making those little subtle adjustments. On your next inhalation, put your shoulders up in a really exaggerated way toward the ears. And then as you exhale, roll the shoulders open, let them sort of slide down the back of your body. If you still feel tension in the shoulders, you could rest with the palms facing up to help relax even more. And just notice how the more the shoulders slide down the back body and relax, the easier it is for the heart center to open, so you have this broadening through the chest. That's going to make it easier to take deeper breath. And at the same time, you have this lengthening through the neck. We're reaching up through the crown of the head while the shoulders move down. And that can help release some tension through the neck, to the shoulders. Now bringing your awareness to the base of your body. Find your sits bones on either side of the base of the spine and root down through those sits bones. While at the same time lifting up through the midline of your body, all the way up through the crown of the head. Briefly check in with yourself mentally. Just notice how you're feeling. Maybe you had a really busy day. Maybe this is the first time you've had the opportunity to sit down and be still and actually check in with yourself. Just noticing. And then take a big breath in. As the breath flows out, start to chuck your chin toward your chest. Still lifting up through that good posture, staying extended to the spine rather than rounding. And then inhale, roll your head toward your left side. And if your eyes were open here, you'd be looking straight out in front of you. Exhale, tucking your chin toward your chest. Inhale, rolling your head to the right. Shoulders stay relaxed. We're going to go a couple more times to each side. Exhale, center, inhale, left. Exhale, center, inhale, right. One more visit to each side. Exhale, center, inhale, left. Sometimes we don't even realize we're holding tension until we start moving. Exhale, center, inhale one last time to your right side. And then to come back out, we go back to center, tucking the chin, and you lift the head. And sometimes you can even use your hand under your chin to help lift the head effortlessly. Roll the shoulders open. Change the crossing of your legs and grab your strap. Now, if you don't have an official yoga strap, as I've talked about before, you could use a belt or like the belt of a robe, like a bathrobe works really well here. We're just going to take our hands to the edges of the strap and have it out wide, and then roll the hands in just a little bit. So you want to still have a super wide distance between the hands, super long strap, because we're going to inhale, reach the arms up, try to keep the arms extended without locking through your elbows. And then as you exhale, just reach halfway back, kind of right behind your shoulder blades. Now, as soon as we do that, the rib cage wants to flare out. So hug those lower ribs in, activate the core, and keep that more neutral positioning of the rib cage. Inhale back up. Exhale halfway, back behind the shoulders. Good. Inhale back up. Last time, halfway back. Inhale back up. Exhale and side bend to your right side, but keep your core activated so you can sort of suspend your body without putting the hand down. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left side. Keep that core activated. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right side. That big opening stretch to the left side of your body. Inhale, center. Exhale, left side. Now we're getting that big side body stretch, right side body. One more visit to each side. Just going in threes tonight. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Good. Inhale back to center. And then see if on this last exhalation you can either reach halfway back and stop there or go all the way down. Okay. Inhale back up. Exhale, lower in front. And then we're just going to get rid of that strap. Take it off to the side. Shake the hands out. And we're actually going to stretch the wrist. So just pull your right hand back with the left hand, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. We're going to go to both sides. Again, here, notice if we're holding tension in the shoulders, if we're locking through the arms, relax. A little micro bend to the elbows. Then we just switch to the other side. This is just to get us prepared for all of our chaturangas and planks, downward facing dogs, and release. Check it out. So let's come to the hands and knees. Now, if you have, tenderness in your knees, then this is where another place where your blanket could come in handy, because you could use it for a little more cushioning underneath your knees. So whatever you need here, set that up for yourself. And we're going to move into some Chakravarkasana pulses. So before we do that, we're going to press back into child's pose. For 3 breaths, you can stack your hands to rest the forehead, or you can rest your forehead on the ground. Balasana. One more breath. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, hands and knees. Make sure the heels of the hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are hip width apart. And we're just going to inhale into our dog tail. And exhale, cat. Pulling the navel in. Make sure the toes are right or directed right behind you rather than angling inward. Inhale, drop the navel. Sits bones in the crown of the head. Slightly lifts up. Exhale. Grounding as you come into your cat tilt. Scared cat pose. Inhale. Back to that dog tilt. Back to cow pose. And then exhale. Cat. Good. Now from here, coming back into a more neutral positioning of the spine, like you're making a table with your back. Curl your toes under. Send your hips up into that very first downward facing dog of our session. Make it sort of fluid. You could, bend one knee as you send the opposite heel down toward the ground. And notice how you're holding the weight in your hands. Is it just in the heels of your hands? If so, really press down through those fingers and thumb pads. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, we're going to start walking the feet in toward the hands. Some of us are going to have to really bend the knees when we do this, and that's fine. We're going to end up in a forward fold, just allowing the upper body to hang over the legs. If your lower back is hurting, that's your body telling you to bend your knees more deeply here, okay? I'm just opening through that back body. Nod the head yes, shake the head no, making sure that we're not holding tension in the neck. And then bring the hands to the mat, bend the knees if you need to, and then walk your feet back into plank. Here's our first plank. Holding here, 2 more breaths. Making sure we're not sinking down into the shoulders, but pressing away from the ground. And then as you exhale, lower your knees, hug the navel in, hug your elbows in as you lower with control to your belly. 3 cobra pulses here, Bhujangasana. Keep those elbows hugged in, keep your shoulders rolled open, keep reaching back through your toes behind you. And then inhale, slide the hands slightly forward toward being level with the face. And as we inhale, just gonna do a little baby pulse, barely using the hands, mostly just using our core here. Inhale, it's like you're doing a crunch into the ground. And then exhale, lower. Keep your chin kind of lowered so the neck stays nice and long. So rather than looking straight out ahead, we're slightly looking down, slightly in front of us, and lower. Hands at chest level. We're going to curl the toes and then send the hips up onto the hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog again. Breathing. This time we're going to come into 3-legged dog. So take that left foot, bring it just a little bit closer in toward your midline. Extend that right leg skyward. And then hanging out here, we're going to circle this right foot around in one direction. Keep your navel hugged in. And then 3 times in the opposite direction. Good. Lower that foot down. Same thing other side. Take the right foot a little closer into your midline. Extend that left leg. Keep it extended. Hips are level. We circle that foot 3 times in one direction. Navel hugs in 3 times in the opposite direction. Good job. Lower the foot. Back down. Lower the knees. Back down. Grab your blanket. So even if you don't have necessarily, that sensitivity in the knees issues, we still are going to grab the blanket because we are going to be doing a pulse on one knee in our low lunge positioning. Okay. So coming to standing knees here. All right. We're going to step this right foot forward into our low lunge. And at first we just make sure that we don't have that knee going over the toe line. We're being careful. We want the knee over the ankle, essentially. Okay. And so another thing that we want to look out for is making sure we're not just collapsing in. That's an exaggeration, but there's no control there. We need to make sure that there's more activation, and we do that when we lunge by sort of pulling this front foot back, okay, the front heel back without it moving, but you see how that activates all the major muscle groups in the right leg. And then at the same time with that back leg, it's like we're trying to slide that back knee, in this case that left knee, a little forward, okay, and that's going to activate the back leg. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale and bring your hands down to the mat, either side of the front foot. Now here's where the blocks come in, because some of us may need a little extra height in order to have that support. But if you can put your hands on the ground, then you don't necessarily need those blocks. All right, so inhale forward in our low lunge. We're looking forward out in front of us, lifting the head, lifting the chest. And then as we exhale, we're going to keep that right foot where it is and just roll onto the heel. You could also put the foot down here too, just depending on what feels best to you. But we're still up on that left knee. And we're just pulling back. All right, so that's our pulse. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then one more time. We're going in threes. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Now we are going to hang out in this sort of half pyramid fold. So just a few breaths here in our fold. You're going to feel that in that right hamstring big time. And release. Coming back into the low lunge. Curling the toes of that back foot underneath you, lifting the back knee, and then stepping back into your plank. We're going to do a little vinyasa here. Inhale forward. Exhale, either lower the knees or full chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're not rushing. We're not in a hurry. We're just taking the time we need to take care of ourselves. Lower the knees, standing knees. And then same thing on that other side. So now that left foot steps forward. Get our positioning in our lunge here. And then inhale, reach the arms up in upward salute. Anjali-asana. Exhale, hands coming down to either the blocks or to the ground, wherever you can reach. Remember, 3 pulses here. Inhale, think about the head lifting, the chest reaching out in front of you. And then as you exhale, just pull back. That left leg may or may not want to come all the way extended. Just do the best you can. Inhale forward, bending that front knee. Exhale back. Good, last time. Inhale forward, bending that front knee deep in Anjali-asana, low lunge. Exhale, coming back. We're going to hang out in our half pyramid fold for 2 more breaths. Good. And then slowly coming back into that low lunge, curling the toes of the back foot underneath you. And then we're going to take a giant step or 2 or 3 forward to the top of the mat. Here again, we end up in that forward fold. I'm going to adjust my camera for our standing. So bear with me. And while you're in that forward fold, just like we did before, make sure that there's no pain in your lower back. We want to avoid that. Let's make it a little taller. Okay. So top of your mat, you can go ahead and, move your blankets out of the way. Little more. If I can get us in here. I need a cameraman, y'all. And then if you haven't already, start making your way back up right. Hands at the heart. And just for a moment, like we did sitting, you're going to want to get grounded here in this standing position. So hands at the heart center, pressing into the hands, breathing deeply. Start feeling all 4 corners of each of the feet. rooting down into the ground. One more breath here. And on the next inhalation, reaching the arms out wide and up. Exhale and fold forward, hinging from your hips. Inhale up partway, flatten your back, either lifting up the fingertips or the hands on to the fronts of the shins. Exhale into your forward fold. Let your head hang. Inhale, slight bend to the knees. Reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hands slide down to rest. The heart center. We're going to do full salute now. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, folding. Inhale up partway, flatten the back. Exhale into your fold, hands to the mat, step or hop into plank. Shift forward on the toes. Either lower your knees or full chaturanga. Try not to let the shoulders dip below the elbows. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana to down dog. Few resting breaths here. Now remember, if you need to modify down dog, you need to take a deeper rest. We can be on the hands and the knees, or you can at any point in time come to child's pose and rest, because this is your practice. Honor what you need. Walking, stepping, or hopping the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale up partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest. Good. And keep these going. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up partway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat. We're going to step the right foot back. High lunge, but then spin that back heel down. Find your balance as you bring your torso upright and face the top of your mat, warrior one. Virabhadrasana 1. Frontal hip bones and the chest is doing the best it can to face forward. Big breath in. As the breath flows out, we're going to bring the arms behind the back. Use your strap if you can't clasp your hands. Otherwise, clasp the hands. Reach the arms away from the body. And then as you exhale, see if you can start folding Silver Surfer on the inside of that left knee, arms in the sky. One more breath here. Inhale, coming back upright. Release the clasp of the hands or take your strap and set it down. And then reach the arms back upright. Exhale, hands to the mat. Spin on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, step back. Keep the hips level as you can. Shift forward. And then either lower your knees or full chaturanga. Your choice. Inhale, we might be doing cobra or upward facing dog. Again, your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe we're taking that extra step of pressing up to the hands and the knees first. Tailor that vinyasa, again, to what you need. One more breath here. Now, we're going to step the right foot forward this time. Spinning the back heel down. Find that foundation, that balance, and then inhale, upward salute with the arms. Virabhadrasana 1 on this side. So we feel this lightness in the upper body, this relaxation, this softness. And in the lower body, waist down, is the foundation, the sturdiness, the strength. Exhale, hands clasp behind, and opposite clasp if you can figure that out. And then extend the arms behind you. As you exhale, start to fold toward the inside of that right leg, Silver Surfer. Still trying to level the hips as best you can. And when you're ready, slowly make your way back upright. Release the clasp. Reach your arms up. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Spin on the ball of the back foot. Step forward. Inhale up partway, flat back. Exhale, Uttanasana. Standing forward fold. And the head hang here. One more breath. And then keeping the knees slightly bent. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, coming up. Looking up as the palms touch, exhale. Hands going to rest at the chest. Release the arms. We're going to do one standing balance pose. So let's do our tree pose. We're all pretty familiar, most of us usually, with that. So empty all the way out of your right foot. And when you're ready, you can have, just your heel kind of resting on the inside of that left leg, right above that inner left ankle. You want to keep a slight bend through this support knee, this left knee, and then maybe the foot can go higher. Maybe you could grab hold of the foot and bring that heel closer up toward the groin. Then it's a matter of either holding onto the foot, which we might have to do for a while until we can sort of master leaving it up on its own, but you're pressing the inner edge of your foot into your inner thigh and vice versa. So they're sort of meeting in the middle. And then here we can have our hands at the heart center. For some folks, they balance better with their arms out, okay, kind of like a tightrope walker. Some folks, it helps them to reach up toward the sky. So just see what helps you. Either way, keep the shoulders relaxed. Try to keep your hips level. Try to keep that bent knee reaching back behind you rather than pressing forward. Big breath in. Exhale, hands come to rest at the chest if they're not there already. And we lower that foot down to the ground. Hands release. Same thing, other side. So we're going to shift into this right leg. And then in your mind's eye, imagine, really kind of see the weight leaving the left side of the body. And then when we're ready, we place that heel, or maybe the whole foot, or maybe we can grab hold of the ankle and bring that heel closer up toward the groin. Toes of that placed foot, in this case the left foot, are directing downward, not out in front. Okay, but down. Bent knee is reaching back behind us, not pressing forward, okay? And again, just decide where the arms need to be. Vriksasana, tree pose. Big breath in. As the breath blows out, release the hands. Release the leg. With control. And shake it out. We're going to come back to the top of our mats. Closed mountain stance with the feet, or as close to closed mountain as you can rest your hands at the heart. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up partway, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat. We're going to step this right foot back first, and then spin that back heel down, warrior two. So turning towards that long right edge of your mat. Shoulders are relaxed. We're pressing through the outer edge of this back foot. We're making sure that this front knee, this left knee, is centered over the ankle. It's not angling inward or outward. And it's certainly not going beyond the toe line of that left foot. So inhale, reaching back, reverse warrior. Nice and gracefully. And then exhale into your extended side angle. Or if you can't quite reach the arm over your head, you can just come straight up side angle. Maybe your hand can come down to a block or to the ground here. And then as always, if you're working on the bind here, you could reach that right arm back behind you, left arm underneath that left thigh, and see about clasping those fingers together, bringing the hands as close to one another as possible. And one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly start to make your way back to warrior two, back upright. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down either side of that left foot, spin on the ball of the back foot, vinyasa, stepping back plank. Keep your navel pulled in, shifting forward, either lowering the knees or full chaturanga, either upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing other side. So we're going to step the right foot forward, spin that back heel down, warrior two. So now we're facing the long left end of the mat. You can kind of see what the back body looks like with this side, warrior two. Making sure the foundation is correct. We have this right knee over the ankle. And then inhale, reaching back, reverse warrior. Exhale into side angle or extended side. Now, you can stay right here on the thigh, or you could bring your hand down to a block or to the ground. And of course, if you're working on your bind, reaching that left arm back behind you, right arm under that right thigh, and then we try to rotate the left side of the chest up towards the ceiling. One more breath wherever you are, and then slowly making your way back up to warrior two, briefly. Exhale, hands to the mat as you cartwheel them down either side of that front foot, stepping forward. Inhale, coming up, part way, flatten the back here. Exhale, fold. Hanging out in this forward fold. I'm going to get ready to do a little bit of wide angle forward fold. So step that right foot back again. And then turn the toes to where they're both facing, again, that long right edge of the mat, okay? We're going to be in our wide angle forward fold here. So first coming up onto the fingertips, hands are right underneath the shoulders. Get as long as you can through your spine. Then as you exhale, keep that length through your spine and fold, letting the crown of the head direct itself toward the ground. Maybe you can put the crown of the head on the ground. Maybe you can put the head on a block. We just want to make sure that those hips stay in line with the feet. We're not cheating by allowing the hips to move forward so we can set the head down. More breath here. And then slowly coming back up to the fingertips. Start walking your hands back toward the top of the mat, turning the toes of the left foot forward, the ball of the back foot, stepping back, last vinyasa into plank, and then shooting forward and lower, either the knees or chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Last down dog here. So just notice how this down dog feels different than the first one. Inviting whatever movement in that you would like. Take one more breath. And then slowly start to walk your hands toward your feet. A little bit more forward so you guys can see me. And then I have to take a little wider stance here with my feet. But you do what works best for you. We're going to come into our yoga squat, our Malasana. So slowly start to, with your hands on the ground, bend your knees. And then, some of us may have to stop kind of high, all right, and that's okay. If some of us might not ever really be able to come all the way down to that full yoga squat, and so you could take your block and you could use it as a prop here, right underneath the base of the spine. Or over time, you may be able to come all the way down. I like to kind of do a little bit of moving for that hip mobility, groin flexibility. You may or may not be able to bring the heels down to the ground. If the heels are off the ground a good bit, you can roll up a yoga blanket or a yoga mat and rest the heels there. So as best we can, you might be holding on to the ground for now. The next step would be to reach the arms out in front of you, and that helps you to kind of increase the space between your chest and your navel. Lifting up high while you drop that tailbone down. And then the last thing, we bring the hands here. Now, if you're practicing crow in Vikasana, then this is one of the best approaches for that arm balance. Now, if you haven't done crow, you're still working on it, then I highly recommend that you keep at least one foot on the ground until over time you feel more sturdy or have a spotter to help keep you from falling. But we place the hands in front of us, about shoulder width apart. Fingers are spread here. And I'm turned to the side to show you what happens next is we lift the hips up. We bring the knees in toward the armpits here, okay? And we just kind of squeeze the knees into the armpits as we round through that upper back. And then we might lift one foot and put it back down. Over time, we may be able to lift both feet. Pressing, pressing, pressing those knees into the armpits and coming out when you need to. The counter pose for crow is coming into a wide-kneed child's pose. So after crow, come into that Balasana. Stack one hand on top of the other. Knees are wide here. And we rest. One more breath. And then inhale. Reach the arms back out in front of you. Keep your knees wide here. And remember, you can put a blanket under your knees if you need to. We're going to do a thread the needle variation twist. So take that left arm, thread it underneath the right, and let your left shoulder, left side of the head, come down to the ground. Now that right arm could be reaching out along the mat in front of you. You might have that arm straight up in the air, fingertips towards the sky, the palm open towards the right side of your mat, whatever works best for you. Take a big breath, and as you exhale, lower that arm. Slide the right hand like where it's in line with your face, and then press to that right hand to come up. Extend both arms out again. Exhale, right arm threads under the left. And same thing here, right shoulder, right side of the kind of head on the ground. You can keep that left arm extended out or reach that left arm up. It's really just experimenting and seeing what feels better, what your body needs right now, and honoring that. Slide that left hand to where it's in line with the face. Press firmly into the ground with the left hand to safely bring yourself back upright. And then we're going to crawl forward onto the mat and come into a sitting position. Extend your legs out in front of you. And I'm going to fix our camera again. Bringing it in and lowering it down just a bit. Okay. So sitting Dandasana, legs extended out in front of you. And for a moment, I'm just going to hang out and press the legs firmly down into the mat. Feet are flexed, toes are spreading, and we're just sitting up nice and tall. Lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. Now while we're here, we're going to practice a little more shoulder opening eagle arms. Keep those legs activated, right arm over the left. Intertwine the arms, Garandasana. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale and lower. Two more times, inhale, lifting up. Exhale and lower. One more time, inhale. Exhale, lower. Relax that activation through legs as the arms relax as well. Hop the knees a bit. And we're going to do that one more time. So activate the legs, press them firmly down into the ground. Reach the arms out in front of you, left arm over the right. Intertwine Garandasana, eagle arms, inhale. Lift up, exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale. And 1 more time, lift up, and exhale. And release the arms. Let go of that activation through your legs. We're gonna bend the knees just a little bit unless you know that you have a very strong core and you don't have any lower back issues whatsoever, okay? So just a slight bend through the knees. Reach your arms out in front of you, inhale, and as you exhale, just lower it down. Inhale, pausing, and as you exhale, reach the arms back up into the sky and slowly roll your way back up. Good. Big breath in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, pausing. Exhale, coming up. 1 more time. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, pausing. Exhale. And coming up. And as we come up, we're going to come into our boat pose. So for some of us, boat pose is going to be right here tonight, or even right here. If you're able to, you can, with the feet off the ground, keep your back nice and extended without rounding, or you could extend the arms, or you could have extended arms and extended legs. See what's available to you. Lifting up, up, up. Try not to round through your back body. Take 1 more breath. And then exhale, lower. All the way down to the ground. Bending the knees and placing the heels close in toward your hips. Now if you need to modify because of knee issues, you can do that by walking the feet out. And you have about 10 to 12 inches of space then between the heels and your glutes if you're making that modification. So knees and the inner thighs and the feet are all going to stay separate. We're going to keep the knees tracking right over your ankles this whole time as we come into the bridge series. 3 pulses. 3rd time we come up into the bridge, we're going to hang out. Keep your head to center. Inhale, pressing down with the feet, lift the hips up. Feel that extending, lengthening stretch through the quadriceps. Knees stay over the ankles. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. Last time, inhale, pressing up, cat tilting the hips, either holding on to the mat with your hands or clasping your hands under your body and wriggling up high onto the shoulders in an effort to bring the arms to extension. Keep your head to center. See if you can bring that right foot a little closer into the midline. Extend the left leg up. And then lower it down. Left foot closer to the midline. Extend the right leg up. And lower it down. Big breath in. Feet are hip width again. Release the clasp or your mat. And then exhale. Lower your hips back down. Hug the knees into the chest. Hands on the kneecaps. Circle the knees in one direction. And in the opposite direction. And then release the feet down. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. I like to have a little bit of height for my head, and so I do often use a pillow. And then if you don't have a fancy bolster or an extra yoga mat that you could roll up to put under your knees, well, yoga blocks can go under the thighs, and it has the same effect, giving that lower back the support that it needs so that it can too relax into Shavasana, to corpse pose. So just hanging out here, allowing your breath to soften. And we spent essentially an entire session manipulating the breath, engaging in that ujjayi breath, that yoga breath as much as possible. But for now, we just let all of that go. And we just let each breath happen on its own. And as best as we are able, we're practicing being mindful. So staying connected with the breath, maybe scanning the physical body, looking for pockets of tension, looking for places where you're gripping, and then inviting those areas to release. So there are a couple of strategies that we can use to stay in that more mindful space. The longer we can inhabit that mindful state of mind, the less stressed we feel. In a consistent, mindfulness practice can start to have a profound effect on our ability to not be so reactive emotionally. That's the key. That's the key of this practice, taking what we learn on the mat and applying it out into the world. How we live our lives. How we engage with each other. How we engage with ourselves. And so since we're practicing from home, if you'd like to extend this Shavasana, then feel free to stay right where you are for as long as you need. But otherwise, start bringing movement back into your body. Moving and stretching in whatever way feels good. The main thing is that you take your time here. We don't want to, rush this final transition and sort of undo all the good that we have done, all the hard work we've put in. So when you're ready from this reclined position to make your next step, just roll onto your side. Hang out on your side for several breaths. Let this be a relaxing thing, a restful thing. And then from your side, when you're ready to transition from there, use your hands to help press you up. And then very intentionally find a sitting position. I'm going to go with my non-dominant leg crossing just to sort of try to balance out all those years of sitting, as a kid, especially in that dominant crossing. So sitting up nice and tall. And then just like we did before, check in with yourself. Notice how you feel now. Is it different? Do you feel different in your physical body? Do you feel different mentally? And then let the palms of the hands come together at the heart center. Big breath in. And namaste. Thank you guys so much for coming. So next week, we won't be doing yoga because I will be with my family out of town for spring break. So we will pick it back up that following Monday, though, at 6:30. So I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. For any of those of you that are also going to be traveling for spring break, hope you have happy, safe travels, and I hope you meet me back here in a couple of weeks.